Hello students. In this module we'll be studying about the various phylums, and the very first you can see here is the Annelida, which are commonly they are called basically as ringworms. Fine. And students, they are basically free living, and few may be parasitic, but mostly they are free living. Some are burrowing and they occur in moist soil. So the soil in which they basically live is the moist kind of soil. And these are bilaterally symmetrical students, which means that their bodies can be divided into two different parts. And they are first true coelomates. So annelids are the first true coelomates. Their body is soft, fine. Their body is soft, elongated and cylindrical, plus very important thing student, that is metamerically segmented. Now what does this mean when I am saying you that metamerically segmented? This means that when the outer, or we can say the external these segments, they resembles with the internal one. Fine. So for example, in case of earthworm, fine, you must have seen the segment. So that is why they are known as metamerically segmented body. Now they have a complete digestive system, students. Fine. And their body, basically that locomotion that helps them in movement, that is done by the seta, parapodia, or we can say sucker. Fine. Now next comes here that they have well developed longitudinal and circular muscle that helps them in the locomotion. And talking about their respiration, that occurs through body surface, students. So their body surface basically helps them in getting rid of all these things. And excretion is done by a special structure that is known as nephridia. Fine, that is known as nephridia. And talking about their circulatory system, that is of closed type. Now we have two types of systems are there, circulation. One is open, one is closed. Fine. So they have a proper closed vasculatory system, which means they have complete vessels, fine, with the help of which the blood flows through the entire body, and hemoglobin is dissolved in the plasma. Their nervous system, now students, coming on to the nervous system, we have discussed the respiratory system, excretory, circulatory. Coming on to the nervous system, that is made up of nerve rings and ganglionated nerve cord. Fine. So they have the nerve rings throughout their entire body, and mostly they are bisexual, but few may be unisexual. Mostly they are bisexual, in which both the gametes, they are embedded inside the same body. And now students, they are ectoparasites like leech, suck vertebrate blood, fine, from the outside. An example we have is the nereis, fine, earthworm, which is known as Pherecyma, and leech. Now these are the structures you can see here, fine, earthworm, leech. This one is the earthworm, fine. This one is the earthworm. Now students, coming on to the next phylum, that is phylum Arthropoda. And the most characteristic feature of this very phylum is that their body is having jointed legs. So always remember this thing, that they are having a jointed legs. Fine. Now this is one of the largest and most successful phylum. Remember this thing, very important, students. Arthropods, they are solitary or colonial, but mostly they are free living. Fine. They are omnipresent and they are bilateral symmetrical. Now here bilateral symmetrical, I have already told you, they are present everywhere, plus their body can be divided into two equal halves. And talking about their body, student, that is very tough. Why it is tough? Because it is having a chitinous cuticle, fine, or we can say chitinous cuticle. You can say pronounce it in both the way. So it has that chitinous cuticle through on the entire body, fine. So that body surface is very tough. And students, arthropods, they undergo molting, fine, to allow the body growth. Now their body is basically divided into head, thorax and abdomen. Fine. Head, thorax and abdomen. So this is what their body is divided into. And in some animals, head and thorax, they fuse to form cephalothorax. So we know that their body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. But sometimes what happens, that head and thorax, they may fuse together and they form this cephalothorax. Fine. And students, arthropod possess legs. I have already told you they are jointed legs they are having, and these legs help them in crawling, creeping, walking, and wings for flying also. Fine, they helps in flying also. Now you can see here, this is the structure of a man having a head, thorax, abdomen. Similarly, this body can be differentiated into this structure. This one is the upper portion is the head, then the middle one is the thorax, and similarly the lower one is the abdomen. Fine. Now their digestive system is complete, students. Okay, digestive system is completed, and this digestive system is basically divided into foregut, midgut, and hindgut. Fine, it is divided into foregut, midgut, and hindgut. Very, very important thing it is. Foregut, midgut, and hindgut. Fine. And mouth parts, talking about their mouth parts, they are highly evolved. And why they are highly evolved? Because this helps them in biting, chewing, and sucking, which is very, very important. Fine. Now circulatory system, talking about their circulatory system, students, which is very, very important. That is the open type here. Earlier we have studied, fine, it was closed type in that phylum. Now in this very phylum it is the open type. Fine, in the annelids it was a closed type, students, but in arthropods it is open type, where blood directly flows in open sinuses and bathes the organ. Fine. Now talking about their respiratory system, they are having gills, trachea, book lungs, and book gills. So with the help of these organs they respire. Now talking about their excretion is basically done by the green glands. Fine, or we can say the Malpighian tubule. So these are the structures with the help of the excretion is done of these very phylum, students. Now talking about their nervous system, very simple. They all of the body basically they are formed of the nerve rings. Fine, and same that ganglionated nerve cord. Fine. And talking about their sense organs now. Sense organs. You all know what is the function of sense organs. So they are very, very well developed in this phylum, and they are basically in the form of antenna. You must have seen the antenna over these all the animals which are present under this very phylum, and they are having a compound eyes. Fine. And plus the taste receptors are also present. Now you can see here the structure of the compound eyes. This is what the compound eyes. Fine. Compound eye looks like. Now students, development is direct or indirect. Fine, you must have heard about the name metamorphosis. Fine, directly when the changing of an animal from the larva to an adult. Fine, so in some arthropods like honeybee are there, individual they are produced by parthenogenesis. Although there are some individuals, some arthropods like honeybee we are having, so these are basically produced by parthenogenesis, and we all know what is parthenogenesis, students. We have already studied this thing in our previous chapters. So this is the fertilization, but without fertilization something is being produced. Fine. Now some arthropods they are economically very, very important, like you must have seen the honeybee, the silkworm, they are very, very important. Lobster, prawns, crabs, these are the arthropods which are economically they are having a lot of values. Fine. But some arthropods may be harmful, students. For example, we have mosquitoes, centipedes, spiders, cockroach, etc. So these are the arthropods which are harmful. You all know mosquitoes, female Anopheles mosquito is there, which basically cause the malaria. Fine. So these are the examples, and general examples you can say the cockroach, butterfly, scorpion, centipede, crab, grasshoppers, ants, etc. Fine. So you can see here, students, this one is the egg. After some time the larva has been formed, then a complete pupa. Fine. And after few days you can see an adult is formed. Fine. This is what the metamorphosis is. Very important. Now coming on to the next phylum, that is mollusca. Fine. This one is the mollusca, students. Mollusca. And now talking about their characteristic features. This phylum includes soft bodied animals. So they are having a soft kind of body. Fine. Now talking about their habitat, they are free living or sedentary. Sedentary means when they are getting attached by a substratum, they are unable to move. So with the help of the substratum they move, they show the locomotion, and they may be free living also. Mostly they are marine, while some are marshy. Fine. Some live in the marshy area, some live in the marine one. And they show tube within tube body plan. So tube within tube body plan is there. Mostly they are bilateral symmetrical, students. See, this chapter is very easy, as you just have to remember the characteristics only. So when the meaning of these characteristics is clear to you, you can be easily like go through all the characteristics, which is very simple. So you can simply make it in a tabular form so that you won't forget the characteristics. The basics one, rest everything is same. and they are bilateral symmetrical, students. Some are asymmetrical due to torsion. So basically in this phylum, that is mollusca, the body shows the torsion. Torsion is a movement, students. Fine, it's the circular movement. So these molluscans, they show this torsion, due to which some may be asymmetrical, otherwise rest they are the bilateral symmetrical only. And students, their body, we have done the arthropods, their body was divided into head, thorax and abdomen, right? Similarly, talking about in this very phylum, that is mollusca, the body is divided into head, foot and visceral mass. Fine. Now visceral mass is enclosed, it's an internal structure, students, and it is basically enclosed in thick muscular folds of body wall, that is known as mental. Fine, this is known as mental. Now you can see here the torsion has been shown, students, with very beautiful. See, you must have seen these structures. Fine. So this is the torsion in, this is a snail. You can see this is something like this. Fine. This is what the torsion is. So due to this, their body may get asymmetrical. Fine. Their body may get asymmetrical. Now mental, that we have already discussed, they secrete a hard calcareous shell, which may be external, internal, or it may be absent, students. Now mollusca, they feed on plant and animal matter. Now we should know what exactly their feeding is. So basically they feed on the plants or the animal matter. And now talking about their locomotion, student, that is done by the arms or foot that is present. And talking about their foot, very important function is performed by its foot, student, that they are modified for burrowing and swimming. Fine, they are modified for burrowing and swimming. This is what they do. Okay. And their digestive system. See, talking about their digestive system, students. Talking about their digestive systems, that is very well developed, and their intestine is U-shaped. Fine. Their intestine is U-shaped because of torsion in gastropods. So because of this torsion, their intestine gets changes into the U shape. Talking about their buccal cavity, it has a tongue-like organ which is called radula, and which has teeth, with the presence of teeth inside it. These characteristics are very, very important, students. Keep on writing them. Fine. Write it down somewhere so that you won't forget them. And terrestrial mollusk. Now mollusk, they are which are terrestrial one, they live on the land. They may show lung. Aquatic molluscan, they have numerous gills, which are called as Ctenidia. So aquatic one is different and terrestrial one is different. Talking about terrestrial mollusk, they show lungs. Fine. But we can say the aquatic one, they have a numerous gills. Fine. Now their excretion occurs by kidney, and these organs, they are known as organ of Bojanus. Fine. Now students, their nervous system is formed by 3 pairs of ganglia. We are having cerebral ganglia in the head region, pedal ganglia in the foot region, and visceral ganglia in the visceral mass. Fine. I hope this thing is clear, students. So we have this cerebral ganglia, fine, in the head region, pedal ganglia, and the visceral ganglia in the visceral mass. Now talking about their sense organs such as eyes, they are having a tentacles also. Fine. They have osphadia like structure, which is for basically testing purity of water. So if they want to test the purity of water, how much the water is pure, that is done by the osphadia. Their sexes are separate, students. So definitely male is different and the female one is different. Fine. And animals, they are mostly oviparous. Fine. So they lay eggs, and development is direct or indirect. It may be direct or indirect. Example we have is the chiton, octopus, sepia and pila. Now talking about the phylum Echinodermata, they are known as spiny skinned organisms. Fine. And they are exclusively marine, solitary or sedentary or free living. Fine. They can be colonial and benthoic. Fine. They may lead a solitary life, they may lead a sedentary life, can be colonial, and they have a radial symmetry with pentamerous symmetry. Fine. They are having a radial symmetry. Their bodies are spherical, elongated or star shaped. So their body is something like this. It is star shaped. Fine, star shaped of body it is having, and body does not have a well defined head. So they do not have a well defined head, students, as that of we have done in the arthropods. Fine. Now they have a spiny exoskeleton, the covering, that external covering. So they have a spiny, that is why they are known as spiny skinned animals. Very very important thing. And they are basically then are formed from the calcareous plates. And very important thing, what is the organ that is associated or help them in the doing the locomotion? That is only possible with the help of this water vascular system, students, which is very very important. With the help of this water vascular system, they basically, this system helps them in the locomotion. Fine. And the water, see, now what happened, there are some like openings which are known as medulloporoids. Fine, let me just show you. They are the medulloporoids. Fine. And the water enters the water vascular system inside these, that is done through an opening that is known as medulloporoid. And echinoderms, they are carnivorous, students, so they feed upon the flesh of another organisms, and they mainly feed on molluscans. Fine. They move with their arms and 2 feet, that are they basically, their 2 feet having suckers that is present on their arms. So with the help of these suckers they move. Respiration is by the gills, students. Fine. Peristomial gills. And their circulatory system is greatly reduced. It is of open type and heart is absent in case of these echinoderms. Fine. And nervous system is simple with a ring around the mouth. Fine. Their nervous system is simple and there is a ring around the mouth and radial nerves in the arms, with the help of which they actually get connected. Their sexes are separate, students. Fine. So one is male, another one is female, easily identifiable. And their fertilization is purely external, it's not internal. So the fusion of gametes, they takes place inside the water only or any other medium, and their development is indirect. Fine. Students, they show high power of regeneration, which is very important. I have already explained you what is regeneration. Example is starfish, sea urchin, brittle star and sea cucumber. Now these are the examples. You can see here the sea urchins. Fine. And all these are basically, they falls under the phylum Echinodermata only. You can see the starfish. Now comes the phylum Hemichordata. Fine. It is also equally important. Hemichordata, they are exclusively marine animal, students. Fine. Usually live at the bottom of the sea. So they live inside the bottom of the sea. Mostly they are free living. Some may be sedentary, but mostly they are free living. Their body is soft, fragile and unsegmented. Fine. Unsegmented kind of body they are having, and their body divides into 3 parts, and these are very very important. Now first one we have is the proboscis, then collar and then trunk. So these are 3 different regions. With the help of their body gets divided, like same what we have done in other phylums, like their body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. Some bodies they are divided into head, foot and visceral mass. Similarly here we are having proboscis, collar and trunk. Talking about their buccal cavity, it give rise to a rod like structure, students, which is considered as notochord by some of the scientists. Fine. And they feed on microorganisms that are present inside the water. Always remember this thing. You can see here proboscis, collar. Fine. And this is what the hepatic region is. This is the balanoglossus. Fine, students. Balanoglossus structure is there. Hemichordates and their proboscis. You can see here, this one is the proboscis, students. See, this one is the proboscis, the middle one. This one is the proboscis. Fine. And this proboscis basically, students, it helps to make burrows while entire body brings about movement. Entire body brings about movement, but this is the region that helps them in burrowing. And talking about their alimentary canal, student, that is complete, straight or U-shaped. Respiration occurs by the paired gills. Very important. By the paired gills the respiration occurs, and the gills they opened as gill slits in this case. Now talking about their circulatory system, that is simple and closed type. You all need to remember them in very differentiated form, students, and very important, the blood is colorless. Fine. The blood is colorless in hemichordates. Their nervous system is embedded in epidermis on both dorsal and ventral sides, and sexes are separate in this. Fine. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is external, students, and development is indirect through free swimming larvae. And this phylum is the connecting link between non-chordates and chordates. So very important. For example, we have the Secoglossus or the Balanoglossus. Now moving on to the next phylum, that is Chordata. These animals show the presence of cartilaginous notochord, students. At least in early embryonic life, they are having this notochord, and the presence of gill slits are there. They have the dorsal nerve cord is there. Fine. And these invertebrates, the chordates, they are a link between non-chordates and vertebrates. Fine. And invertebrate chordates, they are of two types, urochordates and cephalochordates. Now phylum chordates is divided into three subphylum, students. Like first of all, we have this urochordata, cephalochordata and vertebrata. Fine. Now talking about the subphylum urochordata, these animals are called tunicates. Fine. These animals are called tunicates. Their body is soft and covered by covering that is called the test, which is made up of cellulose called tunicine. Their notochord, student, that is present only in the tail of the larva, and it is lost during metamorphosis. It is present but it is lost during metamorphosis, and they are only marine animals. Talking about their pharynx, student, that has many gill slits. Example is Herdmania, Salpa, Doliolum. Fine. Now talking about the next subphylum, that is Cephalochordata, students. These are called as lancelets. Fine. These are the different subphylum, students. They are small fish-like animals that are not longer than 5 centimeter in length, and they live partially buried in soft marine soil. There is notochord that is present throughout the life, students, and extends in length, which is very important. And they show chordate characters such as presence of gill slits, dorsal nerve cords, that we have done. We have done the characteristics of chordates. Fine. So this is what they are telling. Next comes subphylum vertebrata, students. Notochord, here notochord is replaced by vertebral column. Fine. Notochord is replaced by the vertebral column, and subphylum vertebrata is divided into two divisions. You can see here we have the Agnatha, that is without jaws, and Gnathostomata, that is with jaws. Now we'll be discussing what all characters includes in the division Agnatha. See, it includes the most primitive vertebrates without jaws, and it has only one class, that is Cyclostomata. Fine. So class Cyclostomata, they are having the circular mouth, students, and you must have studied all these things in your 9th standard. The skin is soft, smooth, and they contain the unicellular mucus gland, but no scale is there. Fine. And paired fins are absent, students, in case of Cyclostomata. They are ectoparasites, so which have the sucking and circular mouth without jaws. So very important thing, remember this thing, they are having a circular mouth. No jaws is there. They are jawless kind of animals. They are ectoparasites, and talking about their endoskeleton, that is the cartilaginous one. Fine. And their digestive system lacks stomach. Remember this thing, very important, students. And intestine is present with a fold called as typhlosole. Respiration, it occurs by the 5 to 16 pairs of gill slits that are present. Their heart is two-chambered, student. Fine. Gonad is single and large without the gonoduct. Fertilization is purely external. Example, we have Petromyzon, lamprey, myxine, that is hagfish. Fine. So you can see here, this is the structure. Now division, this Gnathostomata, it is divided into two super classes. One is the Pisces, another one is Tetrapoda. Fine. So this is what we have discussed, students. I hope the topic is clear to each one of you. Thank you.